Welcome to another episode of Roll or Die. Today we have for you a really big name in the Australian Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu scene. I've got to be honest, I've been trying to get this guy on for probably 2 years. I think he is the longest time that I've taken to back and forth, but we finally got him in here, and it's definitely going to be worth the wait. We bring to you fourth degree black belt and the head of AMA Jiu-Jitsu, AMA Gym in Perth, Adam Metcalf. Thanks for joining us, Adam.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Awesome, man. So just looking at your singlet there, it says surf, then coffee, then jits, man. So I think your priorities are good. I like your priorities, but I feel like, jiu-jitsu needs to just, come up with it, maybe.
Well, the reason being, I'm a dawn patrol surfer, so I'm out surfing like in the summer, 4:30, 4:45 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah, a bit too dark to kind of go and do jiu-jitsu. We have classes start at 6 o'clock, but I don't do them. I'm normally down at the beach swimming or surfing and at my local cafe.
Wow, man. But there's like my experience of Perth, of the stories you read, I'm sure they're not all true, but it's Shark City out there, man. Have you had any encounters in the surf?
I've surfed with sharks. I actually was it yesterday or the day before? I was bumped off my bodyboard by a dolphin at Fifth Point. Yeah, it's crazy. Look, it's calculated. There's surf breaks that you go to that very high risk, and then there's surf breaks you go to that are low risk. Where I surf my local point, which is Trig Point, I don't think there's been a shark fatality for over 100 years. So I'm either going to be one of the first ones to break the cycle, or we're not going to have any. So yeah, let's keep it going.
I'll drink coffee and tea for that, brother.
And Adam, I've been watching your social media for ages now and been very jealous of a lot of your lifestyle, because you have it seems like just a fantastic life out there in Perth, and you do travel a lot as well. So can you tell us about some of your recent competition journeys, or even all round?
Sure. I guess I enjoy competing. I don't enjoy every aspect of competing. I don't like the hour or so before you step on the mats, that battle with your own brain where you've kind of, why am I doing this? Am I going to look like an idiot out there? Am I going to make a really bad choice? And it's everyone goes through. I don't care who you are. You go through it. It took me a little while to kind of get my head around that kind of thing. So I ended up working out, I've got like a playlist of 4 songs, and I put these playlists on of 4 songs, and when I'm at the gym, I'm dancing to them. Probably seen some on my Instagram, I'm walking around the mats dancing with the guys. So I put my headphones on and I dance. And I look like an idiot, like, I'm this old 54-year-old guy dancing, but it takes me away from the anxiety and the stress of competing. And it's been a really good thing for me to be able to just kind of go, hey, look, it is what it is. Win, lose, in the division, only one person can win. And it's just one person can win. And I put myself in a position that I don't think I could do any more training without breaking myself, without becoming mentally, so I go there and kind of go like, today could be my day. Today could be someone else's day. And I go out there. I like, like we've got this really short time on the face of the earth. Right, really short time. Like we're not here for a long time. Everyone's going to die. And probably about 20 years ago, I had a life arc. On the verge of touch and go of dying. Might not have survived. A bit later, and since then I've kind of said, like I'm going to do everything I want to do in my life, and I'm going to go and do it, and I'm going to chase it down, and I'm going to live a really good life that my son's going to be proud of, that my students going to be proud of, that I want to set an example. One of my quotes in my social is, you write your own story, be your own hero. So to be your own hero, you've got to put yourself out there and do the things that most normal people won't want to do. And look, you're a high-level competitor as well. There's reasons behind what we do. I've been really lucky last year. I ended up winning this sports jiu-jitsu lightweight no-gi worlds. I came second. I jumped up a couple of weight divisions to fight Edison, I've been watching him for ages. I wanted to fight him. He hasn't lost for a while. He's like an 8-time world champion. So didn't know the rule set, and it was really stupid. Like beat the first guy, ended up going into the final, and played IB Judge Afro. So I did enough to get the referee's nod for advantages, and I believe out playing him. And then the 5 minute goes off because it's masters, and the referee goes, okay, stand, fight each other, and go. And I'm like, what's going on? And he comes at me, so we start rolling again. And I'm looking around, and I don't have coaches. I go by myself, so I don't have coaches. I've got no one. And I'm rolling like, what's going on? Like, are we going for 5 minutes or whatever? And then the guy that I wrestled, that I beat the round before, goes, hey, Adam, it's no time limit. It's the first person to score a point or submission. And I'm like, whoa, holy shit. So I got this whole fighting this guy out of my weight division. I've just landed in California. I'm jet lagged. I haven't drunk enough. Anyway, so 12 minutes into the fight, I'm dominating the guy, pull guard, set up a triangle, and my calf cramps. And I'm like holding this thing. I'm like, man, this is the worst thing ever. And I'm holding it like, man. And I end up kicking out of the triangle. Like I thought I was going to break it. He latches onto my calf and sits down. I'm just like, yep. Like first time I've ever been submitted in any tournament ever.
Wow.
And it got really bad. And like the whole process, like I didn't know the rule set. I got jet lagged. I was cramping up and all that. Walked off the mat and like, man, it is. So for me, it was just really like learn the rules of the tournament that you're going to fight in. But I loved it. I loved every second of it. It was really good. I've managed to take out the bronze in the IBJJF Masters Gi, which was the biggest tournament in the world. Fought some really good guys, some really high-level guys. I got to display. I've been working on a guard pass for 6 months, one guard pass, and my whole and sole goal for that tournament was to make them pull guard of me so I could pass the guard, which I did to every single one of the guys. I even passed to the guy that beat me. I passed to kind of like a quarter guard, didn't quite get the advantage on it. But yeah, and then I've got to display a kind of a little bit of my scrambling skills, my wrestling skills in the second fight. And then I went, like, I've never fought in the IBJJF no-gi, so let's go and do that last year. So about 4 weeks out, registered, jumped on a plane, flew over there. I ended up taking the silver, pulled the #1 guy first fight, and managed to out-wrestle the wrestler, which was quite good. I'm not a wrestler, I'm a guard puller. So that was interesting. And then the guy that beat me, we were basically, it was just an advantage. I could have played better. I didn't. It's my fault. But straight off the podium on Facebook, let's be each other's friends and all that. So it's got really nice to have him there. And then, kind of chatting to him, he goes, oh, it's only so I can see what you're doing. So when we fight next year, I know what you're up to and all that. So, but no, I had a really good year last year. Got engaged last year, which was top of the world. My wife now took out the bronze in her division, silver in her division. Both of my boys placed. So
yeah, I see that in your wedding pictures. She's in a sling. Does she know in a sling, or is this like? Is it?
I know all about the sling.
Well, do you want the story or do you want the truth?
We want the story.
The story. When I proposed to her, she took too long. So I'm joking. Like, come on, there's people watching. You've got to say yes. No, it was, look, we train pretty hard coming up to the tournaments, and something's got to give us some time. Touch wood, I haven't had an injury for so long. It's been really good. But Emma's kind of come off a knee surgery. She's had back surgery. She's had shoulder surgery.
Wow.
She's plus she puts up with me, which is probably more than that. But yeah, she's remarkable. She's so strong, man. She's one of the strongest people I've ever met, mentally and physically. So like that was, we finished off the season. got the injured shoulder, so she decided we'll get it done nice and early, so we're ready for the big season this year, to go back out there and do it. But no, I really enjoyed it. Like, I guess I don't like competing on the local scene. I don't enjoy that. I like competing against people I don't know. I like competing out on, I guess, more like a peacock on the flow grappling, where people can watch what I do and pick me apart and say, you should have done this better, you should have done this better. But it's really good. Like, and I've got an amazing crew behind me at the gym that, I travel. I've got like my business partner, Brett, make sure the gym runs properly. All my coaches make sure that the gyms, are done. My team, when I'm training up for it, they beat me up a lot. They beat me up a lot. So I can't do it without the whole package. Emma, like I said to Emma, I want to go and do the Nike Worlds, and she was going to come with me, and then she injured her shoulder, and we made a decision that would just be me to go. And I've kind of promised it'll be the last time that I travel by myself without her competing and things. So I've made that public now. I'm sticking to that. So, but, no, I enjoy the aspect of competing. I like the ability to test myself. I like competing against some of the best in the world. I want to set an example for everyone. Like I said, I'm 55 this year. I don't believe age is anything that should stop you. I travel. I don't have a coach. I travel by myself. There's no one in my corner that knows how I wrestle. I mean, I had Robert Drysdale in my corner. I had Majid Hag in the corner for the Nike Worlds. But it's. I want to test myself. I want to push myself. I want to go above and beyond. I want to kind of get out there and just do stuff to inspire people to, hey, if that old bald-headed guy can do it, then I can do it. You know what I mean? Like, that's my main motivation for it.
Inspiring me, man. I got questions for you, but I'm sure Kim wants to ask you something first.
Okay, let's go.
Earlier on, you mentioned something happened about 10 years ago. What was that? What was that life-changing? Can you tell us about that?
So, what happened was I was running my old gym. It was actually probably more like 12, 15 years ago. And I started to drop weight and become really lethargic. And I just thought, I'm getting fatigued, whatever like that. And got to the stage where I couldn't get out of bed. And my father had a history of cancer. And one day, like, my mum and dad were calling the gym and I wasn't there, and I hadn't been at the gym for 2 days and no one knew what was going on. My business partner, Brett, was over in Sydney. And then my mum and dad ended up catching up with me, and I was like, I dropped 10 kilo. I couldn't move. Got basically taken straight to a doctor that my father had seen for cancer. And that was, I think, on the Friday morning, and Friday night I was in emergency having an operation to have the lump removed. The lump, unfortunately, was on my lung and under the carotid. And the surgeons were kind of like, if we nick your carotid, you're going to die. If the lump's inside your lung, you're pretty much gone as well. So I'm like, wow, this is like going from being fit and healthy and running my gym and not really caring about what I did to my body and things like that as well. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything like that. So they said to me, like, you're going to operate on you on Friday night. And this was like, holy shit, like, I've just got into hospital and going from seeing a doctor to you're having surgery within 24 hours, whatever, like 48 hours. So I got my mobile out and I'm like, okay, I'm going to compose this text message. And I kind of went, mum and dad, my brother, close friends, and blah, blah, blah. I'm having surgery. It's a really major surgery. They found a lump. I don't know if I'm going to come out of it. They said, like, it's a risky operation and blah, blah, blah. And I love you all. And, hopefully I'll hear from you and all that, and kind of really tearful and, thought about it, and kind of like the surgeons come and go, hey, it's time. And I'm like, okay, put my phone down. Went and had the surgery. They removed the lump. I've still got the scar. I've got a scar where they kind of went through. And I woke up and I'm like, okay, I've got this thing on my neck, and I can't move, I can't breathe. And I'm like, wow, okay, I think I'm okay. And they hadn't come to see me. I went, I just checked my phone. So checked my phone, and this was, I think, Saturday afternoon. I woke up, so I was out for quite a while. I checked my phone, and there wasn't any messages.
Wow.
Like, no one replied. Like, no one replied. And I'm like, shit, like, that's unusual. And then I went like, why haven't they replied? And I started assessing what I did to people, how I reacted to people, why they didn't reply, why no one had even called, why no one had contacted the hospital. And it was really this bizarre. And I was going through, and it was like a good couple of hours of processing. So I ended up getting up the phone and went to send a message to everyone again, like, why haven't you, what have I done to you? Tell me what I've done. And then I picked up my phone and I forgot to press send on the original message. So, yeah. So this beautiful message that I wrote to everyone, like, I'm going to die and blah, blah, blah. No one ever got it. No one got it. Right? It's just, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's like, how weird. How, like, no one got it. God didn't send it. But it made me really evaluate everything in my life. And it made me kind of go, like, life is really fragile. We don't know how much time we've got left. We don't know when we're going to go. We don't know. So if I've been given a second opportunity, which I have, I'm going to make sure that I use that opportunity to do good things and to try and inspire people and to make people want to do good things. And it was, I mean, obviously I had to go through treatments and things like that. It wasn't just straight, like, hey, off you go, you're fine. But that to me was this huge life arc. And it was kind of like, man, like, I'd started to doubt myself because the message wasn't sent. And I started to think of the negative things that I'd done to people and how I was reacting and what I'd done. And it made me reassess a lot of things. Like, for instance, like, I don't do what I do for money. Like, it's not this big gym where we're charging $1 million entry. It's a reasonable gym. We had low classes. My day off on Friday, I go and train. My day off on Sunday, I go and train. Not because I want to train, but I want to react with the people that I'm with. I want to have a good time with the people. And I enjoy the interaction with everyone, and I enjoy the rolling. Like, we have this massive open gym on Sunday. It's probably the biggest open gym in Perth, where people from all other gyms come in, and we have multiple black belts on the mat, and I get to roll with everyone, and I get to roll with white belts and blue belts and purple belts trying to rip my head off or heel hook me, and like, it's this whole, but I love it. It's this interaction with people, and I don't think I would have been able to get to where I am now without the bad thing happening to me before. So I appreciate everything that's happened past then, and I'm going to continue to try and do the good vibes and things. And what happened was I started to value my time. And if you ask any of the people, my day is broken into 10-minute blocks. Like, it's pretty much 5 to 10 minute blocks, and this is what I do. So the 2 years that we're trying to get together, it's like, and it's not that I don't want to do the podcast and all that, but like, at that time I had stuff that this is a bit more important for me and my family than it is to do that. And it's never about not wanting to do it. Like I said, I'd love to do that. I want to go on the podcast. It's my first podcast. I'm super excited. But I think that everything had to realign, and like the last message, you read, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I'm so excited. So it all came together, and like, I'm like, here we are, and I'm talking really fast and throwing my hands around. And
you're doing great.
Well, the other good thing too, Adam, we've gotten better as well. If you had come on 2 years ago, we were like maybe like a 3-stripe white belt. I reckon we got to be close to purple belt now, Antoine.
Right. That's right. And we've had our own breakthroughs by not pressing send ourselves, just different kinds of breakthroughs. But I think the delay, that waiting, like in the silence, is often a massive breakthrough. You know what I mean? Like, when you made an assumption about not pressing send. You made an assumption that you had pressed send, but the reality is it left you with a gap. And left you with a gap to pause and reflect and, and face your own vulnerability, man. And that's really amazing. And I really am grateful you're sharing it as well, because it's like cancer plus a super vulnerable moment. Like, that's life-changing breakthrough stuff that not many people get to experience. And, it's very inspiring to hear that story, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And Adam, sorry, you go, Anton. Your turn for a question.
Well, if you're staying on the same train, then you go. But I've got something. I want to change the topic a bit. So have you got?
Well, I'm pretty sure. I just wanted to ask about your beginnings, Adam, into jiu-jitsu, because as a 4th degree, I mean, you're probably one of the earliest adopters of jiu-jitsu in Australia. Definitely an OG. Anton always tells me off for using that term, but there's no
And
other
a
way
rock
to describe
star.
it. Sorry to say.
If
So
Kim
tell
says
us how you
OG,
got
I
started.
think you're a rock star. There we go.
Okay, so I used to run a boxing and kickboxing gym, and I've had quite a few kickboxing fights, and I had quite a successful boxing gym as well. And then one day, John Will came over to Perth to do a seminar, and I was quite open. I want to go and have a look at it, and did the seminar. Kind of, it interested me, and I was like, okay, like this is something that I can adapt and use. So I ended up searching out the coach, which was Jason Gotch, and he had a club in Kenwick, which was like an hour and 15-minute drive. So I used to drive all the way to Kenwick, do my training with Jason Gotch and all that, then go back to my kickboxing gym and grab these guys and like, this is what we learned today, and roll around. But because it was really early days, there was no jigs and that sort of timing, so we were rolling around on carpet and concrete.
What year was this, Adam? When do you reckon? How far back?
Oh man, well, must be like 1994.
Yeah.
I think like it must be like around that time. Like I competed in Brazil as a purple belt in 2004 in the world titles, in the second last one they ever held in Brazil. So probably 6 years before that. So yeah, about that.
Mid-90s. Yep. Sorry, go on.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
And no one kind of knew what BJJ was, and I was training with Jason, and it was this really strange time. Like there was no YouTube, no books. It was pretty much I'd go and train, and this is what it was. So I had to remember what it was, because there was no. I'll go back on YouTube or I just phone him. So I did that for quite a while, and then Jason Gotch kicked me out of his gym. And he did this to quite a few people, and we've chatted about this as kind of one thing, because I was a white belt. I wasn't authorized to coach Will Machado Jiu-Jitsu, and I'm coaching it to a bunch of rock apes doing boxing, kickboxing. So it was kind of like, get out of my gym. I'm like, okay. And then a gentleman by the name of Christian Teal moved over from Melbourne, who was a blue belt, Christian Teal. He had a gym called Elite Jiu-Jitsu. So he ended up having a small gym. I offered him my boxing gym and all that. We put mats down for him to start coaching at my gym. So he did that for a little while. And then without sounding egotistical or boasting, within probably 6 months, 9 months, the white belts were catching the blue belts, and we were starting to. And because we were like from a boxing, kickboxing background, we were quite rough, how we rolled, and not on purpose. We just didn't know any better. So he ended up saying one day, like, I'm not down at your gym anymore, but we'll organise John Will to come to your gym to do seminars. So I'm like, fantastic. So John Will started to come down to my gym and Christian Teal's gym, and there was probably about 4 or 5 of us that were all kind of the same, like rolling together. Fast forward a few years, I'd been competing at the Will Machado Nationals. I'd won quite a few times there. And there was a group of us that were all blue belts that we were pushing to purple belt. Like, we were at the stage of purple belt. There was a little bit of, agitation between the guys. And John Will came over and basically said to Christian, like, you've got to pull your finger out. You've got to develop a gym, and we want to see you compete. Because the other blue belts, that's what they're doing. Like, my gym was, it was a kickboxing boxing gym, but we had a bigger jiu-jitsu gym than this jiu-jitsu gym. But that was business as well. That wasn't just the jiu-jitsu, that was the business end. So it came down to it. And I remember John was coming over for a seminar, and one of my friends, Sheldon Griffiths, he was a blue belt as well. And we were in the conversation. He goes, hi, Adam. He goes, if John's going to award a purple belt out of all of us, just so you know, when we wrestle, I'm going to wrestle you really hard. And I'm like, right? And it was this whole, like, I didn't know it was a contest, but I accepted that. Like, I rolled him all the time. He was my friend, still one of my best friends. And then John Will come over, did the Christian Teal seminar, and then came to my gym and kind of pulled me aside and goes, hey, Adam, we'd like you to take over as head of Will Machado Jiu-Jitsu for Western Australia. There's nothing to it. Like, it's just, like, I get to have a little bit of say in what happens in Will Machado. That's it. I know nothing happens with it. And I've said yes. And since then, I've been the head of Will Machado. I've helped John Will through some stuff. We talk to each other, bounce ideas off each other. I consider John Will one of my very, very good friends. It's almost like a father figure to me as well. It helps me out. Then last year, we had a conversation and John said to me, do you want to start to take over the gathering for me, which is his tournament? So I said, yeah, let's do this and organise it. So I didn't think too much about it. So I'm in Vegas competing, and Perth time, Melbourne time, and it's the biggest tournament in the world. And I've seen my draw and I've got these world champions in my bracket. And John will send me these messages, hey, Adam, can you talk? It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, hey, yeah, John, what's going on? He goes, oh, I've been thinking about the thing. Can you do this? So I'm like, yeah, John, I can do that. And it's not John's just, like John's John and he gets an idea and he'll go like, yeah. And I've never said no to John. I'm like, yeah. So I end up on the way back from Vegas on the plane trips, organising the Will Machado gathering on Smooth Comp. And I sorted out the whole tournament on my mobile phone on this plane back. And John kind of like, I never said anything. And then I said to John, like I was at the gallery, so like, you were calling me. I actually said to his wife, Melissa, like 2 or 4 o'clock in the morning while I'm getting ready to compete and all that, you're calling me, asking me about the tournament. So I've gone from being like this novice white belt to being like one of John's, I guess, go-to for advice and to help him out and things like that. And I'm not better than any of the other black belts. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I was awarded my black belt in March 2007. I was West Australia's first black belt. Not because there wasn't other guys that were deserving. Like, it was just a timing thing. Happened to be the right place, the right time. And ever since then, I've kind of taken the responsibility to develop not only my gym, but through Western Australia, a tournament, my SGT tournaments that people can compete in, and that gives them the best advantage for the most experience and things. So that's pretty much my story from white to fourth degree.
That's amazing, man.
Obviously competed in Brazil at the world titles in Barra Tijuca. I've competed around the world. Like, I was the #1 Japanese black belt at some time and things like that as well. So, but I've enjoyed it.
That's great. I've got a question about competing. We've got 6 minutes 41 left, right? So I guess just from that perspective, keep that in mind when you're answering this. But I don't see myself as a good competitor at all, right? Like, I actually am quite good at jiu-jitsu in my mind, right? But like, I win a lot of rounds. When I compete, I never win. I just never win, right? And I'm good at business. I'm good. I coach people. Like, I'm a student of the game. I love it. When I step out on the mats, I lose. Okay. So I'm looking for, like, from you, is this normal? Is a jiu-jitsu journey that you always have to be good from the start and then you will maintain that or drop off? Or is it that will I blossom at some stage? Is there something I'm missing? Do you see this? Is this anything like any of your journey? Talk about this.
In 5 minutes.
I've usually been pretty good at tournaments from day one. I've been involved in sports all my life. I'm saying that, man, like, there's a lot of world champions that didn't start to win until like brown belt and black belt, and they're white, blue, and purple. They didn't win a single fight. I don't know what your mental preparation is going into it and what your expectations for yourself are, but a lot of the time that when you're going to compete, your own expectations is what beats you. So when I start talking to my team, and I make this brief, is if they've lost a couple, like, what time did you lose it in? Did you get submitted? Yes. Okay. So can you go the whole round and not get submitted? Next one, can you go the whole round and get a dominant position? So this way you have a basis that you can evaluate whether you're progressing or not progressing. If you base it on win or loss, it's too cut and dry. So you need to have this. Did you get the takedown this time? Yes. Did you get a guard pass this time? Did you survive longer? So, and that way you can monitor yourself that you're constantly getting better instead of kind of like going, oh, suck, I'm not winning. With your mindset as well going into it, you probably put a lot of emphasis and pressure on yourself because, like you've said, and you have these expectations to perform, where those expectations versus reality, if you haven't been competing and you haven't studied the art of competing, you're not going to jump in there and be a black belt level competitor. You've got to start off and just have these, get those tips on your competition belt. So I wouldn't worry about it too much, and it will come to you. But enjoy competing. Like, the biggest thing I say is actually enjoy the process, enjoy the whole lot of competing. Win or lose, man, it is so much fun out there. Like, just enjoy it. The more you enjoy it, the less you're going to put emphasis on your result and the expectations, and the more you're going to have fun. Once it becomes fun, it becomes a lot more enjoyable.
Awesome, man. I really appreciate that feedback. That's awesome. Thank you.
We're nearly out of time, Adam. I think hopefully it's been worth the wait for our viewers and our listeners. I feel like we could have you on again. I mean, there's so much more that we haven't even talked about. Like you can, competing as a master, like your kids, the way that, you are as a parent, as a coach with them. And Emma, we talked about briefly. But have you got any final words, any parting thoughts to wind us up?
The thing is, like, just be real to yourself. Like, if you're not happy where you are, don't make big changes. Just make little changes. It's not like everyone kind of goes, I'm going to quit that job and get that job, or just make little changes. But you get one shot at this life, man. Like, and it's not like you can kind of hit the reset button. You can't do that. So I got told this thing. I used to do, I have a business mentor, and he goes, you've got two choices. You either wake up happy or you wake up not happy. That's pretty much cut and dry. And if you wake up happy and you're in a good mood and you're good to people, eventually that's going to come back to you. But just do things that you want to do in your life. Like, I used to do quite a fair bit of PT, and I've cut that down now because, to me, the money's not important. I want time with my family and my wife, and that's far more important to me than making $100 an hour, whatever it is. So I think that people need to understand the value of their own time, because that's something that they're not going to have a lot of. Understand the importance of being happy. Being unhappy is like a poison to your body. Be happy. You know what I mean? Like be happy and do things that you want to do. Like, there's a lot of stuff like, man, I can't tell people, go down the beach in the morning and have a swim. Like you see me, I'm in board shorts in the middle of winter. It's 3 degrees. I'm in board shorts. I'm swimming. I'm laughing. I'm happy. Just do stuff that, if it's difficult, then do it. Like, if it's difficult, that's even more reason to go and do it. Like, I'd hate to go to a tournament and kind of go, I'm going to win this tournament and take the gold medal. I wouldn't do it. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. Like, there's no challenge. There's nothing from that. So just do stuff that motivates you, makes you happy.
You're amazing, man.
Awesome. Awesome. Like I said, it took us 2 years, but hopefully we can get you back on again a bit sooner than that for part 2, because I definitely think there's a lot more nuggets of gold that you can share with us and our listeners. So thank you so much for giving up your time, and we'll have this episode out really soon, and if you could share it on your social media, that would be awesome and help grow our audience even more.
100%.
Thanks, Adam. You rock, man. Catch you later.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.